As you get ready to go into mock game week, where do you think rotation, numbers, guys, what do you feel like this group has kind of emerged or set themselves apart thus far?
I think you got to look at the first two, the returning guys from last year. You got Bish, you got Payton, and then you got to look at the rest of the room. It's no really set numbers in rotation yet. I think they're still working itself out as we get towards game week. The competition factor in that. I think you start with the two older guys, and then you look at, Star's another guy that's played a ton of football, that's working his way and has had a really good camp. And then you look at the two younger guys that are fighting for a role on this team, have done a really good job too. So I think once we get towards game week, I think that'll work itself out.
Where has Tawn taken steps since last year, and how has he kind of approached, having a chance to maybe step into an even bigger role this year?
Yeah, I think he's taken a factor in terms of the leadership, number one. He's been a dynamic guy in the room in terms of holding guys accountable. If somebody's not living up to the standard, he's the first one to get on them, and that's including all factors. And then I think you look at from a pass protection standpoint, he's taken the next step too. From a physicality standpoint, an eye discipline standpoint, he's done a really good job from that standpoint. Running the ball is natural to him. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was highly productive in high school, that rushed for a ton of yards, so that came natural. The pass protection piece of it, he's grown tremendously in that and done a really good job this camp.
What have you seen out of the offensive line, maybe from the growth from last year to this year? I mean, your group, a lot of their success is dictated by what those guys do. What do you like about the offensive line this year?
I like the fact of, how they're coming off the ball. They're coming off the ball hard. They're coming off the ball creating vertical seams in the defense for us. They're doing a really good job playing physical, and doing a really good job of playing connected and playing together. Those guys have been tenacious in terms of the way that they came off the ball for us, in terms of being able to run the ball. Their attitude has been tremendous. You see a different mentality in them collectively, which has been good for us.
Now, you just talked about Starr, you talked about Bishop, you talked about Payton. You have three guys that can really run the football. How much of that is a good problem for you, that you can use all three of those guys?
It's a good problem because I think competition never lets you be complacent. We talk about it all the time. Good is the enemy of great. So when you got a whole room, and it's not just those three guys as well, you sit up there and you look at the two freshmen that we got in Dewan Morris and Justin Baker. They don't want to take a back seat to anybody, so they're competing their tails off as well. So everybody in the room, including Hunter Barnes as well. I mean, you got 6 guys in that room are competing their tails off to go play. So I can't have an off day. You know what I'm saying? It can't be one of those days that I'm not bringing my A game. I got to be an A player every single day when I got a deep room in the way that we do.
Saturday, Hypo said that Star Thomas is a completely different player. In what ways have you noticed him change through spring and fall?
He's gotten comfortable in terms of knowing the offense inside and out. He's grown so much between the spring, over the summer to now. You can just tell how comfortable he is, and now he can be himself. He's the guy that you seen on tape be productive last year. He's grown even more in terms of being able to run the football behind his pads. That's the biggest deal for us too, the physicality piece of it, and then in pass protection. He's done a good job in terms of being identified. The physicality piece is showing up a lot with him in pass pro as well, which has been awesome.
Adam and Rob.
We knew when Starr got here, he had a reputation that he could catch the ball out of the backfield. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say that's sort of what his forte is? He's a situational guy, third down guy, a guy on the perimeter, or is he a little more than that?
No, I wouldn't say he's a situational guy. I think Starr is a complete back. You know what I'm saying? He's not a guy that's just going to catch the ball outside on the perimeter to be able to run. He's a run between the tackles guy. He's a run on the outside. He's able to catch the ball, pass protect. So, in my opinion, he's a complete back.
Coach, regardless of the personnel, since Coach Heupel's been here, Tennessee's been highly productive running the football. Mm-hmm. What about this system I know it's not as simple as plug and play, but what makes it almost seem that way?
I think it's being in a rhythm and a flow with your offensive line, number one. I think the way that we play ball allows us to have the box counts that we do, but also at the same time, it's a mentality. Everybody understands that we're going to run the football in this program, and I think the mentality that the offensive line sets to what the tight end set to what we're setting in the running back room, that's allowed us to be successful in the run game. And they understand that. They understand the standard and the expectation of us. Man, in this league, you got to be physical and you got to be able to run the football. No matter how many they put in the box, we got to be able to get downhill on people and go hit them in the mouth.
Brent and Patrick.
this was the first offseason for Payton Lewis because he had the surgeries last year. What did you challenge him to do this offseason? What did you want to see from him? What have you seen from him thus far in fall camp that you like?
We challenged him just to grow. He changed his body. He looks like a Greek god when he walks out there on the field, and to get comfortable. I wanted him to be Peyton like he was in high school in terms of when he was able to run behind his pads. He was running through the trash that was being created up front. He's done a really good job from that standpoint. Like, his eyes and his feet match now in the run game. His eyes and his feet match in the pass protection game as well. Like, you can see the maturation process, and he's playing faster. I think last year, especially him not being able to go through spring ball, when he came out of fall camp, he was still feeling his way through. There's no more of that now. He's actually playing fast. He's playing behind his pads. He's doing a really good job in all three phases of the game for us right now.
Coach, you kind of talked earlier about the rotation. Once you get into a game, how do you kind of determine who gets what drive, how many guys you play, and you guys always talk about the hot hand. How do you kind of determine that part of it too?
Yeah, so we kind of, throughout the game, we go through as a staff and we kind of talk about what the rotation is going to be about. The rotation takes care of itself during the week in terms of who's competing. You know what I'm saying? Who has the less MAs, who's doing a really good job protecting the football, protecting the quarterback, and who's being highly productive. I think going by that in the game, it kind of always sorts itself out. You always kind of got a plan. I know last year, Dylan went in the first two series, and then Bish came in the third series. Not necessarily saying it'll be that way this year. I think we kind of work its way through. But also, you got to look at how is the offense moving when you're in the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always challenge the guys with. Is it being highly productive and going up another level, or is it staying consistent when you're in the game? I think by that token of it, it always works itself out.
It looks like Dewan has gained some nice weight since he got here. How far has he come, I guess, since he enrolled, and where does he still, is pass protection still the biggest challenge for him, or something else where he needs to push a little more to get on the field?
I think you look at his body and see how much it's changed since he got here. That's been awesome. He takes pride in terms of putting the weight on the right way. The biggest deal with Dewan is he's still growing. He's natural in terms of being able to run the ball. He's got vision. It's like he's running blind at times because he can feel his way through the holes, which is really good. His acceleration is good. It's always going to be pass protection, for the young guys as they come in. But it's not because of he don't want to. That joker is physical. He'll go in there and he'll put his face in the fan and he'll go in there and stop a charge. We just got to keep working on making sure his eyes is in the right spot. You know what I'm saying, from a fundamental standpoint. But overall, we pleased where he at, but he still got a high ceiling to still continue to work to get to.
You mentioned Payton Lewis being like this Greek god. How have you noticed maybe that strength translating to when he needs to have good pad level, get through that first point of contact, and the technique with his feet?
You see it because he's able to, you see tacklers bounce off of him, and that's the biggest deal. He's built his body up in a way to where he has the armor to where he's able to use his body as a weapon now, which is really good. And I think that's translated into confidence as well. He understands that he can drop his pass in the run game, he can drop his pass in pass protection, and he's able to stop people in their tracks. So I think that piece of it has been awesome for him from a confidence standpoint. All right. Awesome.